Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Let's start the video.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Chocolate Hazelnut Podcast.
I'm Chocolate.
And I'm Hazelnut. And we're going to go ahead and jump into another video.
But before we do, as always, like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let us know what you think.
One thing about being a stepdad, at the end of the day, you're going to always get stepped on. My only son.
At some point, he got to go.
Never no time.
At some point,
Never no time.
Man.
Never no time.
Well, tell him, Christian.
No, you tell him.
Well-
You talking about you grown and you got to go somewhere. I told him, you only son, you ain't going no damn where. You go when you get ready.
Man, I just feel at some point you need to make your own way. That's what I be wanting to walk through the house naked sometime, and there you go. So I mean, what,
No, if anything, you can go, not him. How about that? How about that?
Bills in here. You gonna tell me where I can go?
The thing is, like, why do I gotta, this is my mama's house, like, why do I gotta leave my mama's house?
Period.
Man, you damn near 40 years old. Damn near it's time to go. I mean, at what point?
I'm 29 now.
Well, that's pretty 10
But
years
you know what?
away.
When I met you, you was living with your mama.
Man, please.
You
Y'all
was
was
living
in
with
and
your-
out. Come
you
on,
was
man.
living with your mama.
I
Now
was
you
only
gonna tell
22
me.
years old.
Now you gonna tell me
Yeah.
because he
No, I ain't
29.
gonna lie, but I ain't getting out. I'm not getting out. I'm
Man,
not
he
going
got to
nowhere.
go.
I'm not going nowhere.
He
It's
has
my
to
mama's
go.
house.
Well,
And you ain't gotta go
You know
nowhere.
what, damn it, I ain't gonna pay no bills either, damn it. Now, how you feel about
I couldn't be this man, right? Because I would pack all my stuff and leave. Because he said he paid all the bills. And she said, this grown man ain't got to pay no bills. He ain't got to go. This is the definition of a man-child.
I mean, the one thing that's striking me the most right now is that she's showing this man's face, trying to blast him, or, put him out there, yet she's blurring out the face of her 29-year-old son. Like, he's not a minor, he's a grown man.
Well, she's treating him like a boy. Any woman that he dates is going to get a boy, not a man. Again, a man-child. And he has no sense of responsibility or anything. He's not paying rent, light, nothing.
Apparently, he doesn't have to. Look at what his mom is telling him. Let's finish,
Right.
and then let's
Right.
go deeper.
that? You don't want him to go, I won't pay the bills.
No,
But
you gonna continue to pay
he
the
got to
bills.
go, though, man. It's too much. See, we arguing and stuff about
But
stuff.
at the end of the day, all you gotta do is tell me to help.
What?
I ain't saying nothing. Like,
Man, you
so
right.
At the end of the day, you got to tell me to help. What the fuck? What the fuck?
First, he said, y'all ain't said nothing. It sounds like the stepdad has said things to the mom, and she hasn't said anything.
Right.
She is okay with him living there and not doing anything, not being responsible, not taking out the trash, nothing.
That's a no-go in my book, always.
That's a big no-go. That's a no-go
I-
for a 12-year-old,
He couldn't even be a friend of mine because I ain't going to deal with no joker like that.
right?
That's just laziness. But let's keep going.
Yeah.
Man, you supposed to know the garbage overfield. You supposed to know to take that outside. Come on, man. I don't have to tell you all this stuff, man.
But the thing is, I'm barely here, so I'm barely making garbage. So why I gotta take the garbage out if I'm barely here? If I'm barely here, barely making garbage, barely making dishes, why I gotta do anything?
Hold up! Hold up! Hold up!
She gonna always make excuses for you.
If you are barely there, why do I have to take out the trash or do anything if you're barely there? If
Because the
you're barely
trash is
there-
full.
If you're barely there, that means that when you are there, you need to make sure that you're making some type of impact, especially if you're living rent-free and you ain't doing nothing else.
Sound like they need to give this man a chore chart.
He's not a man, he's a boy. If you need a chore chart, if you don't know what to take out the trash in his pool, if you don't know to help out around the house and to sort of clean up behind yourself, regardless of the fact of how often you're there.
I feel sorry for whoever he's involved with. That he probably go over there and just make a mess and leave it there.
Yeah, probably.
Man, but
Right, he don't even be here. So what is you talking about? He don't be here like that. He come here,
Well,
he
when
sleep,
he's
and then
here,
he don't
he needs to
business the
help
rest
out.
of the day.
when he's here, he needs to help out. He needs to do some things. He
Well, I
needs to
tell
be
you what,
productive.
he ain't paying no bills
damn it,
and
he's
he
gonna
ain't
start
gotta go.
paying some bills around
But
us.
I ain't paying.
But
I gotta pay.
I'd rather want to
My
get the
mama,
fuck out.
but listen, my mama said I gotta pay my bills. I ain't paying no bills.
He gotta pay.
I ain't gotta
What
pay.
I want him to do is save his.
What's up, Hazelnut? You look like you want to say
Ooh,
something.
I have so much stuff to say.
Say it.
So first of all, he said, and what we just said, when you are here, you need to be helping out. But then he was like, he needs to be helping paying bills or something. The mom says he ain't got to pay no bills, this, that, and the third.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. First of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
He's a 29-year-old person already. Like, if he living with you, when is he supposed to learn responsibility? How is he supposed to go out there and get his own place?
I know the answer to this one.
Paying the
I know the
bills
answer.
at
I
home?
know the answer. Never.
Because, like, literally, like, what are you teaching him? Because you're not teaching him to be independent. You're not teaching him how to take care of himself. If something were to happen to his mom today or tomorrow and he was thrown out into the world, he is not prepared.
He's gonna be out on the street living on some girl's couch.
He's gonna be couch surfing, and then when he is couch surfing, I'm so mad I can't talk. That, like, literally, like, nobody's gonna let him stay there being a bum.
That's all he is. He's
Nobody.
dead. Some people, and they complain about men not knowing how to be men. This is a perfect example as to why. Especially when they're raised by a parent who's going to coddle them. And I hate to say it, but most of the
It's
time, men
women.
that are coddled is because of women.
And then the thing that makes me so mad right now is the fact she's saying that her son, who's 29 years old, he could technically have been working since 16. Now, mind you, I don't think that at 16 that he has to pay bills and stuff, but maybe after high school if he's still going to stay there. However, that's like you've had over 10 years, right? Even if he started working at 18, you've had over 10 years in the time frame where you could be working and doing something more productive with yourself. However, there's no way she would allow this man that she's sleeping with to come into her home and to not help out with the trash, to not pay bills, to not do this and that. There's no way in the world. So why is it okay for your son?
Well, according to the man, he's paying all the bills.
Yeah, so and then even if he moved into her house, that ain't the point, because she wouldn't let you live there, pay bills, nothing. Like, you can't be there and be a bum in her house.
If you didn't
There's no
provide
way
some-
she would allow that.
Especially if you didn't provide some type of utility.
Thank you. But
But
it's okay for
she-
her grown son to do that.
She walking
Boy,
all over this man. And I
This
get it, that's her
boy.
son, but she's literally choosing her son over her husband.
I mean,
Like,
my thing is, listening to this, is what was it like for this man trying to stay in this house with her son, and she's like, this is my only son. Okay, and
I want to say one other thing.
was he not allowed to help discipline this child? Was he not allowed to give him fatherly advice? Was he not allowed to be a man to this growing boy? Literally, though, the biggest thing that I don't agree with is, like, we've talked before about, you know, transfer of authority and how parents and step-parents are supposed to interact with their children. So this here to me is a classic case of, like, you know, you can come be in my life, but you cannot parent my children. And the thing that to me is so crazy is the fact that you have a son and you have a man who seems to be, you know, in all respects from this snippet that we've seen so far, doing the right things that a man's supposed to do, helping with things around the house, paying bills, taking care of you, trying to help you take care of your children. Yet you're telling him that he can't show your son, who's trying to be a man, how to be a man.
So I'm going to invoke a name that most people don't like. This is one of the topics that, you know, Kevin Samuels talked about, being a step parent and not having the authority to discipline the child, or the mother choosing the child. He most of the time uses females as an example, but this is a prime example of a mother choosing the child over the man that she's with. I said maybe married, but I don't see a ring on his finger, but they've been together long enough where
Right.
it's probably common law marriage. Because
I
she
mean, but
said
even
she
if
met
they've
him when he
only-
was 22,
Right.
and he's every bit in his late 40s,
40s,
early, maybe
exactly.
late 40s. So that's 20 years of being together. You married at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So this is why a lot of men don't want to be stepfathers. I'm not against it because you can be undervalued in that role.
I will agree. I will say that I find it very ironic that she's trying to bash this man. Even if he was living at his mother's house when she met him, let's say that she met him at 25 years old. At some point, though, he left her house and he's taking care of your house. So why can't he help your son do the same? And there's a huge difference between 22 and 29 years old. At 22, you can still be in college. You're still kind of young, figuring life out. At 29, a lot of people at 29 have already started their own families. You know, I'm not saying everybody, but there's a good number of people who have kids, 25, 26, 27 years old. By 29, 30, people are buying houses and things like that. Your son ain't even left the nest.
Yep, he should be dating, possibly getting engaged to someone at this point. But you're sitting there treating him like he's a baby in the crib. Baby, you don't have to pay any bills. Mama got you wham, titty in the mouth, and all that stuff, instead of letting him be a man. So we're gonna jump back into the video.
Money and do what he needs to do with his money and not pay no bills.
Because all this soft she bringing to him, he still got the titty in the mouth. You let
Oh,
all that
hell
stuff
no.
go on.
No, you know what I know? You jealous. You jealous of my son.
You would say
You
that.
jealous of my son.
Only you would say some bull
Bro, I
crap
don't
like
know
that.
if you just not, but I just want to get my mama's house. Like, if I gotta get my mama's house, you gotta put me on my mama's house at the end of the day.
Well, damn it, I'm gonna be carrying you. You got to go.
Oh, you don't think you want to carry his wife out then if that's the
no
case?
problem carrying them out. I just shoot them on out. And
Michael, now you know good and damn well I'm not kicking my son out.
what point
And-
of respect?
So at the end of the day, I ain't worried about it. Like, at the end of the day, I'm here. I live here, so until I'm ready to get out, I'm gonna be here. So it don't
At
matter.
what point is you trying to? What's your plans for this man? What's
my plan is to stay in here as long as I need to stay in here. That's my
And
plan.
what if he 45, 50?
And we gonna be 45, 50 up in here.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Y'all heard it.
This is well, damn it, I'm gonna be out there.
Bye.
No, he's going. He's going
Get
to
this
go
step
with
in. Get this step in.
He's
Because
going.
this my only son. He ain't going nowhere.
That's what's
My only son,
You
shit.
the one made him like this because your weak ass.
You know
made him.
what? Come and go. Your son is forever.
You stupid.
Niggas come and go, but your son is forever. How dare she speak to that man like that? Even if they're not married.
I mean,
It
was the bye.
I would have got up and left. I'd have showed her exactly
Ooh.
how much I mean to this household because she's not paying the bill. Her son not paying the bill. I don't know if she's working or not, but
I
I'm
was
assuming she's
going to
not.
ask that. I was like, if he paying all the bills and everything, she's probably not even working. And if she is working and she's not contributing to her own household, that's a whole different topic.
So the thing that killed me, he said, I ain't going nowhere.
Because he knows that he doesn't have to. Listen at his mom. And think about what he said at first. I don't have to help around here. Y'all ain't telling me to help. Well, y'all ain't saying nothing about me paying bills or helping out with this. I'll move out when I'm ready to move out and all this other stuff. Like, one, you just cruising, going through the motions every day. So it sounds like the son not even working, doing anything productive with his own self.
But they did say he works, but I forgot what they said.
I didn't hear that part. Maybe I missed it.
Yeah,
I didn't hear it.
I don't think it's a full-time job. It was early on in there.
Okay.
Right before they said he comes and goes and sometimes he don't stay there. I think he
mean-
probably worked like part-time, but that's not even important.
But whatever he's doing, though, he obviously can't support his own self on his own 2 feet. Like, that's what it sounds like.
I mean, if he ain't working, you got 24 hours in the day. You better get one job and then get another. Better go do Uber, Grubhub, work at McDonald's. It don't matter. A job is a job. Go work in the warehouse. It does not matter. You are a
Lazy
man.
folks don't want to work though, and I feel like this child by saying, "Well, I'm gonna be here as long as I don't have to go nowhere." Da 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 da. And you heard the man when he said, "Well, he gonna be here till he 45, 50," and the mom said, "So what? He gonna be here till he 45, 50."
Yeah, that's
So
not something.
you are saying that this man will never have to work in the prime of his life. So when he is 45, 50, you dead and gone. He don't have nothing to show for himself. He has absolutely no work experience. He has absolutely no savings, no way to cater for the rest of his life.
He'll be living on the street.
Like, you are setting this child up for failure.
I wish you would stop referring to him as a child.
He is a child. He's not a man.
He's a man child.
Okay,
He's
child.
legally
We'll
a
go there.
man with the mentality of a child.
Yeah, I will
At
give
the
you
end
that.
of the world, end of the day,
It'll
the
be
world-
the end of his world.
yeah, at the end of the day, the world view him as a man. So if his mother was to croak over, God forbid, today, and he was out on the street, nobody's gonna have a bit of sympathy for him.
That's right. And I do want to go back to what you mentioned earlier, Kevin Samuels, right? I don't agree with everything he said, but I do feel like he's had some valid points, during his time of making videos and everything like that. Back to the whole thing about men being step parents. This is a really, really good reason why a lot of men don't want to be. And then, this man, let's say that he actually did pack up his things and go. Now, the first thing she's going to holler, "Oh, men ain't SHIT," or, all of this other stuff. You start spewing all of this negativity, but you could not take that same mirror and turn it on yourself and understand why this man left you.
That's called accountability.
It is. And then the fact that you're not trying to hold your son accountable for being a responsible adult, but yet, you expect for this man to just accept this. There's absolutely no way. Let's say that she just started dating this man and he had a grown son at his house doing that thing. She would have that man's child out in a heartbeat. There's no way that she would accept that from him or somebody else. So why is it acceptable for a man to have to take that from you? It's not.
Imagine this is his biological son, or that's a terrible scenario, and this was happening. Imagine if this is a child, he come into the life since the child was 1 or 2 years old and was raising that child as his own, spending his money.
Mm-hmm.
They don't look rich. You don't have to be rich, but he provided a good enough
upbringing
so that they have a place to stay, roof over their head, food in their bellies. You don't have to be rich to be happy and content. But now you tell him, you have no authority, but he been caring for this person, buying clothes for this person, feeding them, feeding you.
Yeah.
You making this man, I don't even know the word.
To me, it's women like her who make it bad for other women and men, because it'll be his experience with her. Even let's say that this was only a 3-year relationship. She had a 5-year-old, and this man couldn't discipline her 5-year-old when he was jumping off of the couch and the counters, and she was like, "Don't tell my child what to do." He eventually leaves. Then going forward, his forever the one could be somebody with a child, but because of his negative experience with the ex, now he's like, "Oh, I can't deal with nobody with children," which a lot of men do. And then now her and him are missing out on what could have been a really good relationship because of some ignorance that somebody else did.
Yeah, as a man.
And it goes both ways, but it more unfairly affects men than women, in my opinion.
As a man, when you step in a place where a woman has a child, there's so many things that could go wrong that you may not have done anything. You can get blamed for a lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they say we're innocent before proven guilty, but when it comes to the place of children and accusations, no matter what it is, no matter how minor, how serious, it's guilty before innocent for men.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's your word against that child. Even if you're not found guilty in the court of law, you're probably going to be found guilty in the court of opinion, and your relationship messed up, your reputation messed up. You have to move out that city, state, whatever, depending on how serious it is. Even if you are found innocent in the court of law and that you didn't do anything, you're gonna be slandered so much, and it's still on your record, no matter what the charges are.
I think adding on to that is, if you think about simply like, let's say that it's just like the single mother, maybe she's dealing with the father, right? Because there is a lot of negative stigma around like black females in particular, you know, being single mothers and all this other stuff. And there's this whole, you know, I'm independent, I'm the mother, I'm the father, all of that other stuff. However, let's talk about the attitude that this woman displays and, you know, apply that to the actual dad. What if he's trying to actually be a parent to this child, but she has that type of attitude?
Then it's a messed up situation. But at this time, we're running a little bit over, so
Yeah.
we'll have to discuss that possibly in another episode.
Yes.
It's a good point. So, thank you for visiting us.
Thanks for chatting with us.
And as always,
Like, comment, subscribe, share.
Bye.